Welcome to Lauterbrunnen, Switzerland. I'm here at my mini chalet, a small cabin that I bought about 3 years ago, and I've been renovating it, making updates, and building customized pieces for it since. It's been a great project. I've really enjoyed working on it, and not only that, but it's set in one of the most beautiful valleys in Switzerland. Right behind me we have Staubach Falls. This waterfall is known by many people around the world, the tallest free-falling waterfall in Switzerland, and then the rest of the valley has 72 waterfalls altogether when they're all flowing, of course, which happens to be right now. The project I'll be working on today are these planter boxes that I built last season. I used wood from wood pallets and constructed them, including the structure underneath to support it, and they've been a great addition to the front of the cabin, providing beautiful flowers when you're sitting inside and looking out at the view down the valley, which I'll show you in a moment. Well, at the time, I did apply a coat of stain, but it wasn't robust enough. This side of the cabin is south-facing and gets that direct sunlight, and so even after just 1 year, they're already starting to show weathering and need a little freshening up. To freshen up these boxes, I'll need to take them down, I'll need to sand them, make sure all the nails are pounded in, all the screws are secure, and it's going to get a fresh coat of stain and sealant. And what color of the stain? You're going to have to wait to find out, because it matches the terrace in the back. I just finished this terrace last month, and I'm really excited to show you, but not yet. Enough talking, enough staring at waterfalls. There's distractions everywhere. There's birds, there's waterfalls, avalanches. It's a great place, a great valley to hang out in, and I often have to stop my work and look up and remind myself of the views that I have and what a privilege and how thankful I am to work in such a beautiful place. Let's get to work taking these boxes down and freshening them up. In order to remove the boxes, I'll take out the 2 screws holding each box onto the support structure underneath. Now that I've got the screws out, I'll show you how the boxes are actually attached to the brackets that are fastened to the house. You can see here there's a bracket that is fastened to the cabin, and it is the support that attaches the whole structure to the cabin. And you'll see as we come up here how that piece fits through there in a slot that I cut and chiseled out. So the boxes will need to be removed off those 2 brackets. With the screws removed, I can now detach the boxes from the cabin and their brackets and get them on a level that's more comfortable to work. Let's take them off. I designed them this way for moments like this, so if I needed to do maintenance or apply new stain, they could easily come right off. Let's get this one. Voila. Good morning and welcome back to another day building here at the chalet. I'm getting back to work on these flower boxes that I started a couple days ago. I took a couple days off because of a rain snowstorm, and it dropped about 30 centimeters or 15 inches of fresh snow up in the mountains. So a friend and I, we took off a couple days and went skiing. So I'm getting back to work on the boxes today, and I'm excited to do that. Now that the boxes are removed from their position at the front of the cabin and sitting here on my work table, I'm going to get to work freshening them up. I'm going to start by giving them a good cleaning. There's not a lot, but there's some soil in here that's gotten in over time. Some of the nails have come loose that I originally used to nail this together. And just make sure that all the screws and everything is fastened and in good shape before I get to the new stain color. Okay, you can see they're built pretty sturdy. I built a really good inner structure, inner frame to hold them together and to be able to support all the weight of the soil and the plants. So being able to move them around like this is really convenient. And now I'm going to take the wet cloth and wipe them all down. The whole flower box, inside and out, will get a fresh coat of stain and sealant to help protect it from moisture and water, because it is sitting outside. And sometimes it does receive direct rain. So I want to give it a good chance. Of course, there's a helicopter passing overhead. Typical of Lauterbrunnen. The heliport's just down the road. Yeah, you can see how many nails have raised up and pieces are quite loose. So I'm back out in front of the cabin here, and I'm going to prep the support structure for the flower boxes here. Going to give them a quick sanding. They're already pretty smooth because I did a good job prepping them before, but they could use a little sanding, so I'm going to prep that now. It's about 12 o'clock here. The sun is shining. It's quite bright, and it's a beautiful day. Probably about 15 degrees maybe already. So in the 60s Fahrenheit. And they're the church bells. It's 12 o'clock. To stain and seal the flower boxes in the support structure, I'm going to use this product. It's called a Holzveredelung, and it's a 2-in-1 system of a color and a sealant. I used it on the whole terrace here on the exterior, and it has performed fantastic. The finish is really nice and smooth. Sanding in between each coat, I think on the terrace I did 3 coats. Protects from water, moisture, mold, all of this. So I'm going to use this as well on the planter boxes in the same color. It's a teak color, and finish the boxes that way. And then that way the terrace and the planter boxes in the front will match. So I'm going to open this up, stir it, mix it really well because it's a fresh can, and then I'll get to staining the support structure first and then the planter boxes after that. My stain is prepped and ready to apply, so I'll paint these beams here. I'll probably start in the back just to make sure it's going on smoothly and looks good before I commit to the front of the structure that's visible to everybody. So I'm going to get started painting that now. The first coat has been applied. With this direct sunlight, I think it's going to dry pretty quickly. So I'm pleased with the color. It's a little more brown than I thought it would be here. It could be the different type of wood, but it'll dry with that red hue. And I think the color matches, or maybe not matches the cabin, but it works fine, the 2 colors. It's a nice contrast. And then of course this is the entry. You see this when you first walk in, and then when you get to the back of the cabin you see the terrace, and then the colors will tie in. So now I'll get on to staining the actual planter boxes themselves. Hopefully we get this all done today, and then I can get them back installed looking beautiful. I'm moving on to staining the planter boxes now. I'll be using the same stain as I used on the support structure and also the terrace, as I mentioned. Shifted my work here to the shade because I have about 30 more minutes of shade underneath the beautiful pine tree behind me, and then the sun will catch up because it moves across the valley that way. I mentioned earlier that the wood I used for this project to build these planter boxes came from old wood pallets. And I get those from my other job because the delivery man doesn't want to take them with him. So I dispose of them and put them to good use. Pallets have so many functions, and they're quite trendy to use in garden furniture and in building, and they're a great resource for wood that is in relatively, I mean, depending on the condition of the pallet, you can find decent wood. Now, I gave the wood a good sanding, but I did not plane them. So by no means are these boards perfect. And I'm okay with that because they're planter boxes and it's reusing old wood, and I simply don't have a planer. So I just cut them up, sanded them really well, and made the boxes. I'm also painting the inside of the planter box because when you're sitting inside the cabin looking out the window, you can see into the planter boxes. So I think it's important to make them look just as nice on the inside as on the outside. So that's what I'm doing now. I continued staining the rest of the afternoon, applying the second and in some cases the third coat to the planter boxes and to the support structure attached to the cabin. And I was really pleased with how it went on. The pallet wood soaked up the stain really well. I got great coverage, nice uniform look, especially after they dried. So I was really happy with that, and I just kind of worked away the rest of the afternoon listening to music, enjoying the views, and hanging out at the chalet. And there goes my GoPro falling off the table. So the next day, I installed them back into place on the cabin, and I couldn't be happier with the color and the look of it. I plan to add a piece of trim where the planter boxes meet the crossbeam there, and that will just clean up that seam and make it look more finished. I can't wait to get plants in there. That'll look so nice on the front of the cabin. And in the future, I'm going to build a bench using a natural cut piece of lumber as a bench and a backing, so keep an eye out for that video. We've accomplished a lot this week, from the planter boxes to the pavers to the new sun deck. I'm really excited about all of the updates and improvements. It really helps to bring together the exterior of the cabin. The last couple of years I've been focused on the interior, and so now to work on the outside and have the beautiful views while I'm working has just been fantastic. I had a lot of fun doing these projects and trying to film it at the same time. This channel is new. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm finally starting it, so I'm thankful that you stopped by to watch it. Tune back in for future videos about other projects that I'll be doing here at the chalet, a ski video that I'll have coming out in the next week or two. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. It's free, and if you want to share with your friends or family and show them the beautiful Lauterbrunnen Valley and what Tim is up to at Summit Craftwork, then please share with them. So thanks for stopping by, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Is that even English? Blah, 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 blah. Whoa, base jumper. Nice. High Ultima. Base jumpers everywhere, people falling out of the sky.